Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Caliper, I can measure it, and then I can.
Okay, so you're calling for the CT22. That's a key gauge for the Russwin DH class that can do System 70 or Pre-System 70. And
exactly.
I'm saying let's not spend the money, even though it's not a ton of money. You could do it for no charge. So, are you in the website right now?
I am. On
the right-hand
I'm at the Architecture Builder Supply.
Yes,
Is that where you're at?
Yes,
okay.
Sir. On the right-hand side, does it say Buy Now or Add to Cart?
It says Product Catalog. Let's see here. Going down, Mabel. Does it say Buy Now? No, it didn't say. I just pulled it up. Just looking. Wait, it says up there, Order Options. Yeah, you can add to cart. Yeah.
Beautiful. Below that, you see the map of the United States?
Yeah, map of the United States.
To the left of that, click More from Corbin Russwin, and let me know when the next page loads.
Okay, second here. My wife can't listen and hear at the same time. Okay, go to the United States map, and then go to the right. You say?
No, to the left of that, click the link
to that Corbin Russwin. More Corbin Russwin. Okay, gotcha.
And let me know when that page loads.
Okay, it's loading now.
Okay. So there's going to be 4 columns and 2 rows of videos. Then there's a video below that, a larger one that's a video. Now, immediately below that video is a vertical column of links. You're looking for one that's just past halfway down that's called Corbin Russwin Cylinder Manual 2016.
Okay, I see it.
Fire that puppy up. Then I'm a little bit ahead of you because I'm going to get to the page number that I'd like for you to. Okay, cool. So when that fires up, would you please go to page number 65?
Page 65. Okay. Go to page 65. Oh, wait, she can't get there quite yet. Hang on a second. It's almost loaded.
It's okay. I'm not going anywhere.
You know, I saw your picture. I remember seeing you at the DHI conference.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Oh, yeah.
And you were sitting at the table talking to a young lady, and I came and remember I went over to you, and I was like, hey, man, you're the guy that's over there. I watched you before videos. You're the guy. I knew that was your company. That's great.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Small world. Okay.
Yeah, it is. So that page 65 shows you the root depth of everything. So So the question now becomes is, what's the plug diameter? It's 509, right, for pre-system 70. It may be. So now what you've got is the root depth. So I think, and forgive me, I've just simply forgotten, but I think that plug diameter is 509.509. So take 509, measure the root, the bottom of the blade to the bottom of the cut. Deduct that dimension from 509, and then you're going to have your depth of your cut. So if you put a caliper on the cylinder plug itself, you're going to have the plug diameter.
Okay, on the cylinder plug. That's the exterior diameter, though, right?
Well, no, it's just the cylinder plug.
Oh, excuse me. No, it's not. That's right. No, when I pull the plug out, you're right. Not the cylinder, the plug. You're right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So you'll have that as a point of reference, and then
I got you.
Measure your root depth from the bottom of the cut to the bottom of the blade with your caliper, and you're home. You don't need to spend no $28. And
that gives me.
Now
that gives me, I guess.
That's pre-system 70. DH class system 70 is page somewhere. I've gone too far. Maybe page 60. Okay, it is on page 62 is your system 70.
All right, now let me ask you, I'm cutting RU46 keys, so I don't know what system it is.
Okay,
that's the blank.
Okay, so RU46, though, that's a Kava number, right? So let's
that's correct. Mm-hmm.
let's see what Cabo tells me. Was it in Scottsdale or in Virginia or in Colorado? I suppose I've been there too. That we saw each other.
Scottsdale a year or two ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it bums me out that I'm signed up for a virtual one. I think it starts next week. Okay, so RU46 is on page 253 of the CABA manual.
253, page 253 of the CABA manual.
Yeah,
well, I don't have that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pulling it up. So it's a 1011 D1. Let me look. 256.
Yeah.
So I believe that you have a D1 keyway, and that's going to fall safely within either page 62 or 65.
Okay.
So now, have you been doing any master keying on this material?
No, what I'm trying to do is I have to figure what the master key. They don't know what the master key is. It's the hospital. They don't have the biddings for the master key, so I got to figure what the biddings are. Then I'm going to figure out. They can do the math or the other key, whatever I need to do. It's amazing they don't have a chart. So I'm just going to give them a master key to change over with their current key. That's going to be a simple process, simple math. I can do that, and I'll simply cut it with my Pro Extreme machine. So I cut it real accurately, so it'll work fine. My problem is I don't have something to start with. I got to be able to measure that master key to know what in order to come up with a bidding for the blanks that I'm getting for it. So
yeah,
this is my first job with them.
You're going to take apart a cylinder, but you've got a change key?
Yes.
Okay. So
I have
the other thing, obviously the other thing you can do is take the cylinder apart, put your pins in your layup tray in front of you. You'll then measure your change key so that you know what cut that is, and then obviously put your caliper on the master or masters, and then look in the chart down below at the bottom half of each page, and that's going to tell you what they measure for both a 509 and a 552 plug diameter. So this is nothing but net from half court. This is easy stuff. I mean, the problem that you have, though, is if it's a level 3 system or there's Maison keying, you've got two masters and a chamber, you're going to have to keep taking locks of cylinders apart to figure out kind of better what the master. Then when you think you got it, walk around and check to see if it works everywhere, and then you'll know.
Yeah. Okay. I need to keep this simple.
Well, no, I think we have, though. Now, if you want to do the key gauge, that's fine, but you don't need it. If you have a caliper, you don't need that key gauge because you now have the charts.
All right, I have a caliper, a digital caliper.
So let's just go through it one more time. You're going to take a cylinder apart. You're going to measure the plug diameter, just the round thing that swings inside of the housing. It's either going to measure 0.509 or 0.552. It's going to measure one or the other.
509 or what?
552.
552. Okay.
And that's on the bottom of each of those pages. On the left side is the 509. On the right side is the 552 in that cylinder manual.
Okay.
Then you're going to know what plug diameter you're dealing with. So once you know the total height of the plug, which is almost the effective plug diameter, you're going to write down 509 or 552. Then you're going to measure that root depth, the bottom of the key blank to the bottom of the cut. You're going to take the plug diameter. You're going to subtract what you just measured, the root depth, and then you're going to look at the chart on the right side of the key drawing, just above center of the page, and you're going to say, well, look at that. I measured 280, so it's got to be a number 4 if we're dealing with a System 70, pre-System 70, in fact. But, if you've got any of it, you could also determine if it's System 70 or pre-System 70, because in System 70, there ain't no cut deeper than a 6. you know, because it's a single-step
Okay.
system.
Well, if you just use an example, like you said, like the 280. There is no 280 on this chart, either one, right?
Well, I think I had
288.
said one.
You just use that as an example, right?
Well, yeah, I think I had said. Well, there is on page 65. If you look to the right of the tip of the key, you'll see a number 4 is a 281. So you know, yeah.
Okay, I see.
Feel like I'm bulldozing through the explaining part of this. I'm sorry.
So basically what I'm going to do is measure the plug diameter and then measure the root cut of the key itself. And then take that and subtract it from the root, from the plug diameter, and that number is going to tell me what pin that is, what pin depth. Correct?
Perfect. Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly.
So I just basically need to copy those 2 pages, and then I can figure that out.
If you bump into Corbin Russwin, this is the gospel when it comes to Corbin Russwin. My only regret is that it's probably a couple of decades old at this point. But this document here, I tell people all the time, I think it's impossible to work in a Corbin Russwin environment without this reference because, my God, man, I mean, you know, there's dozens of keyways, and then they got single and 2-step. It's crazy, Corbin Russwin, because, you know, they go back to the, 19th century. That's the problem.
Well, what I also like about this is you had the build-up pins. I guess that's the master pins. Is that right? Are those master pin depths too? So I'm looking at the chart. Well, it just says no. Excuse me. It's got the master pins already there. I don't know what the build-up pins mean.
Okay, so without getting too deep into the woods, a build-up pin is what you would use when you're pinning interchangeable core or master ring.
Right.
And it's
okay.
When you got to hit that second shear line for either a master ring cylinder or an IC core. If you're using conventional, you won't do any build-up pins.
Okay, no, I'm using a conventional. I'm not doing the IC core.
Yes, sir.
I mean the interchangeable core. So I'm just doing a regular master pin. So you got the master pins there. It shows me what the depths are from 2 to 9. Yes. My lab kits I thought showed it too. Should be the same thing. Hopefully, I don't know if it is or not, but I'd rather use this chart because it's. So basically, once I figure out then what that difference is, I can cut the key and just. Okay, that's simple enough. So I just need to simply copy page 65 and 62, don't I?
That's all you need, and if this customer keeps calling you back, you might want to read the document a little bit. I mean, I've read it a couple of times. It's just fascinating because the author, I think his name was A.J. Hoffman, he worked there obviously, but they go into the history of some stuff, when this happened, and it's fascinating. It really is.
Wow. All right, now which one you say 60, you said page 65 or 62, which?
You need both, but when was the hospital built?
No, man, I don't know. I have no idea. They've not been doing things right, obviously, because they don't even know what their master pin cuts are. And they're just wanting me to change, they're going to change a key on like 4 different places. If you can believe it's got about 700 locks. And I went, you mean to tell me, yeah, they just called me out there as locksmith and said, we want to change locksmiths. And I went, yeah, they want 5 keys for these. Or no, actually it was 12 keys. The same key for these 5 locks changed. I went, okay, well, what's your change key? Well, we don't know. They didn't know what a change key was. So what's the bidding for your master key? We don't know that either. And I'm thinking, well, how do you know that you don't have a lot of crossover? They're going, what's that? And I'm like, never mind.
Well, the thing is, you're using technical terms, even though those words are simple. Bidding and change, they're not in the standard vernacular, and guys like me and you understand it. So we do have to effort ourselves to dumb it down because we are using technical language, it turns out. Right.
But I guess my point being is I couldn't do this job. Number one, I couldn't do the blanks. I've ordered them. I'm thinking, well, I don't have a Corbin Russwin key tool to measure it, so I don't know what this master key is. So how in the world am I going to figure out if I can figure out the master, then I can take my Pro Extreme Key machine and I can cut the blanks by entering the biddings. and it'll cut it like a factory cut key. But I don't know what the darn gauge was of the, the bitting was of the master key. So, but this will help me. You're saying what's the difference in 64 and 65? The pages I want. 62 to 65. Yeah.
Well, 62 is System 70. And I just forgive me for asking, but do you know the difference between the two?
I don't. What's the difference?
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so it's in 1970, literally, Corbin and Russwin, they went from a two-step system to a single-step system. So, you ever pin any quickset?
Yeah, plenty.
Okay, so quicksets only got cuts 0 to 6, right? Or 1
right,
to 6,
that's
whatever
correct.
it is. That's a single-step system. But you got Schlage, right? And that's 0 to
right.
9. That's a two-step
right.
system. So in 1970, they converted from the Schlage way of doing it to the quickset way of doing it. Where in a System 70 or in a quickset, you can have a number one master, but you don't have a number one master in a Schlage system, right? You don't.
Exactly.
And that's the whole difference. It's just a fancy way of saying they went from quickset style, they went from Schlage style to quickset style.
Okay, so for these keys that I'm using, they're probably using the page, it's a pre-system, probably the.
And that's why I asked when it was built. If this puppy was built in 1950 and the locks are original, it wasn't System 70 because that didn't happen until 1970.
Yeah. Okay. So it's probably a pre-System 70, I'm thinking. And then let me ask you, in pinning this, because it shows me the master pins for this too, the depths. What do you still need? My rule of thumb is you keep a 2-depth difference and never use a Schlage 1. This is what I've done when I do Schlage or
Well, the fact of the matter, in pre-System 70, there is no number one master pin like there is no number one Schlage master pin.
That's true. So do you still need to keep a 2-depth difference, though? Or?
Yes, sir. 30 thousandths. Sometimes with an A line or a D line cylinder, I'll go to 27 thousandths. But man, you get lower than that, you're asking for trouble.
No, I guess what I'm saying is, do you have would you pin a 3 next to a 4, a master pin? Next 3 next 4. Is that enough of a difference? In other words, that's a 15.
No, definitely not, sir. Definitely not.
Okay, that's why you would jump 2 depths. Make sure you're always 2 depths.
Absolutely.
Difference, okay. I forgot what the term is. I studied it before. I forgot what that was, but I don't know what the term is for it, but that's to keep it, when it's not, you're keeping 2 depths between each one rather than 1. Well, I forgot what that's called, but anyway.
Well, that's your increment.
Yeah, and that's just to keep it safe, because when you get 1, that 15th of a thousandth may jam up.
Well, it's going to, and the theoretical cutoff is 0.23. So anything 0.23 and bigger is a single step system. Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, that's what I'll do. I will simply just use that chart until I get me a key gauge, and because they give me like a deadline to get this done by Friday or no later than Monday. And I'm like, man, I can't get a key gauge quick enough. I got to figure this out. You have been just tremendous help.
Well,
I will copy this and use
it. But if you get over there, call me. My name is Richard. I'll try not to make it any worse. Is the bottom line.
Richard, okay. I'm surprised you're this available, man. You own this company. I would think you're super busy. You ain't got time for people like me, Richard.
Oh, I am, and yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I'm glad that you called.
Richard, what's your last name? What's it called? Richard?
Howard.
Howard. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I remember. And I always thought that was your first name. Anyway, and what's your phone number, Richard? Is it this number here?
The number you called. Yeah, whatever. They all come back to me.
Okay. Well, what I'll do, I will download those 2 pages. I probably got a pre-System 70. And at least I can experiment and see how it works. And that will just be awesome. You have been a humongous blessing to me, man, because they just called me out of the blue to take over their business, and I'm like, here it is, my first day there, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I realized, you know, they don't have a system. They just have master key and a key. And so I'm thinking, okay, then I'm thinking, well, they use different keys than I got. I got some other ones, but I don't have this one. And so I use Sled, Quickset, and Yale, but I've not done too much Corbin Russwin. I've only been a locksmith for 6 years, so I'm just learning.
Well, you know, you're a locksmith for 6 years or 66 years. The learning process never stops.
Isn't that the truth? Every job you're learning something. That's the God honest truth. But Richard, you have been such a blessing to me. I hope I have the chance to meet you again in person. And I'll come over and say, I'm the dude that talked to you on the phone, you know, about it. You go, oh yeah, that's the guy. Hey, can I buy you lunch? You know, or whatever. So, but you certainly, you know, it's amazing. I found you before I did this and called you because I've seen you on before. I'm thinking, man, after this guy knows what he's talking about, I'd like to talk. And I met you out there. I went, well, I'll be darned. What's the chance of me meeting on this guy that I find on the internet? And then what's the chance of me calling you up again here for this? That's incredible. But that's what I need. You have been a big help. And we'll just go with this until I can find me a gauge. I don't know where to get a gauge at. No one seems to carry them.
I'll take your order and get one shipped to you. There's no problem. It's just my suggestion, if you only have 4 locks to do it with the caliper. And if they keep calling you back, then get the key gauge.
Well, they will. I mean, there's no doubt if they will. I mean, they'll just start. So I want to go ahead and get the key gauge, but I'd like to be able to, now that I have this, if I got the blanks, I could get them taken care of quickly, this first job, till my gauge comes in.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'll do. So let me go ahead and order a key gauge from you, if that's okay.
It is. I'm going to send the link over to order entry. Stand by one moment. They will know what you want by the time they answer. So stand by, sir.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
Oh, yes.
You know, to make a master key. I don't know. Are you familiar at all with the Pro Extreme machine? Cutting machine? I'm
not at all. I own many other machines, but I have no knowledge of that machine. I'm aware that it's computer driven, but I'm not familiar with it at all.
Okay. I was trying to cut the key, and seemed like I got you know, I put in got the right blank. It's an IC. I guess it's an IC. I don't know, DH class 6-pin pre-system 70. You know what? It may not be a IC means it's interchangeable core, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Maybe it's not. Maybe this is called something else. Maybe that's part of the problem. But it looks like they're all IC. I was looking at. Oh, well, I don't know what class it. Maybe it's SDH and Z class. Would that be it? Maybe.
No. If you have an RU46 would be a Russwin. You would have a D1, so that's going to be a pre-system 70 DH class. Prim. Let's see. I don't know if that's one of my options online here. All right, it's a pre-system 70. Yeah, but is it what did you say it was? A DH? DH is how it shows up in the manual. Okay, mine shows S, then it colon or it's colon, then it says DH class 6-pin pre-70. I think that's exactly what you need. I don't know what the S stands for, but everything else is spot on. Okay. Well, what I'm going to try and do, I've loaded the key, and I put in the cuts, which I've come up with. I just need to cut a key, and I can't seem to cut my key. I'm trying to find someone. I don't know who to get a hold of. I can't seem to get a hold of anybody who made the machine, you know, tell me why I'm getting this message I'm getting. But you know, I'm going to try, tell you what, I'm going to try what you just said here one more time. Maybe I just want to see if you knew anything about it at all, because I'm kind of sunk. Yeah, well, I may just have to wait. Well, the key that they cut, that the machine cut for you, put your measure it with your caliper and do the same thing that you did and see what it's cutting. You'll know if it's cutting to the proper depths or not.
Right. Well, the thing is, that's not my concern, is I can't get the key machine to cut. Cut me a key, period. That way I could figure it out. I didn't know, because I'm getting this error that, I'll tell you what it is in just 1 second. I'm trying to see if I can get it ready to cut the key again. Okay. Because here we go. I've got it. Now I'm going to put it in there because I'm just trying to figure out, why I can't. That may be a separate issue, I know, but, I go to, I'm going to put in here cut key, and it tells same jaw. I say, yeah, it's the right jaw. Okay. And then it says error calculating cut coordinates. In a sense, key data verification failed. Index was outside the bounds of the array. I have no idea what that means.
So what that means is the machine's being asked to do something off of the physical space of the key. It's some coordinates telling it to go outside of bounds. I do have the manual, at least I think I do, but I don't.
You have the what?
See the manual for that key machine in front of me, but I don't see any reference to that.
Does it give you some kind of number? I don't know if I've got even a right number. I took it off the machine, the back of the machine. I can't seem to get through to anybody.
Telephone number? Yeah, So I come up with a company called Laser Key Products.
Yeah, that's him.
And they're in Texas. I can give you a phone number if you like. Oh, shit, I could just transfer you if you want me to.
Well, give me the number, and then you can transfer. I don't want.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
281. 339. 3501.
And you know what? That was the problem. The area code was different. I thought the 3 was an 8. I couldn't read off the machine. That was my problem. Okay. Well, I'll give them a call and see if they can tell me, because if I can get a key cut, I think I can figure this out. But I can't. And this thing will cut it like a factory cut key. I understand it's pretty accurate. But I'll just give them a call. No, I appreciate your help so much, sir.
I'm glad you called.
Okay. Thank you now. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
I did these calculations, and I'm not getting it to work out. I don't know if I'm reading it right. Is there any way that I could walk you quickly through them to see if I'm reading the chart right or something? Or
yes, of course.
What I did is, for example, Rich, I measured my master key. And what I come up with on the caliper was like it's a 6-cylinder, pin bitting. One was like 248. The second one was 235. The third cut was 202. The fourth one was a 225. The fifth one was a 222. And the sixth one was a 238. And now what I tried to do, because I'm trying to master key, I pinned it to that. Of course, nothing comes up, of course, but what I tried to do, then I took my change key and I put it underneath it. And of course, you know how you do. You make your change key, you drop the lowest number. That would be your bottom pins, supposedly. And then you have your master pins, which is subtracted to give you that last number. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my point being is, I did it, but it didn't work. I don't know if I'm reading the chart wrong. Let me ask you this: with my cuts, like let's just take one, like number one, which was a 248. According to my lab kit, a 248 would be a bottom pin would be a 246. I guess that would be a number 4. Was that how you interpret that, or do you interpret it differently from your chart? Because on your chart there, it's still it would be A 248 would be more like a 245, I guess, and it would be a 4. So I'm not sure why the chart.
But you're doing pre-system 70, right?
That's correct.
So you want to look at page 65 of the Corbin manual, and a 248 would be like a 6, and a 238 would be like a 7.
Okay, I'm looking at the wrong one, so I got to go to 65. You're saying?
Yeah, for
that may be
70,
where my.
sure.
Okay, so the bottom pin's like with the 2. Well, that would make more sense because the 248 seems to be dead on with the pin. They got me for the bottom pin. That would be a number 6. Okay, that may be what my problem is. I'm on the wrong darn page. Okay.
It's great though, because now it's like you now know more about Corbin Russwin than it's the perfect example of system and pre-system 70. It's just it's great knowledge to have. Absolutely.
Right, and I figured how to cut the key, but naturally it didn't work because I was operating the wrong one. So
yeah.
I'm going to pin it. I mean, I think I did my master key and right. I do this all the time, and I'm like, I know my math's not doing that bad. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
But I'll try and pin it according to that and see if that works out better. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you taking my call.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
If you've made it this far into this video, you must be determined to see it through to the end, and we appreciate your hanging in there with us and watching this entire video. It means a lot. It takes a lot of work to create these videos in the sense that, it's time taken away from doing other things. However, the advantage for me personally of creating these videos is the fact that it does allow myself to either learn about something new, to reacquaint myself with something, or to reinforce what I believe that I already know. Any comments that you might leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Page on 265. I don't have those, some of those. I do some of the other ones in my lab kit. Are there special pins just for Corbin Russwin?
Yeah, so the bottom line is the lab kits of the world don't always have all the pins. I've got a PK 1070 because there are sizes that I need and I can't get them out of lab.
I got you.
I don't know if the lab Corbin Russwin is going to have it either.
Okay.
So it's not surprising that you do not have the exact right pin for Corbin Russwin in the lab kit.
Okay, so that's why it's not working. Okay, I figured that out. You don't have the pins for them, do you? You don't have a lab pin. I mean, you don't have the pins for the Corbin Russwin, the kit, or anything like that.
Yeah, we do. I mean, sure, I could. We can definitely take an order from you for just genuine Corbin Russwin pins. Sure. What you could do, of course, to test it, use a much shorter bottom pin and then stack on top of it a master pin to make sure the keys you're cutting work. You don't want to leave those stray pins. So if you were doing like a 240,
right,
put a 180 and a 60 in there and see if, or a 180 and a 57 in there and see if it works.
Okay, now so the master. Okay, so what you're doing is you're adding you're adding the tenths to build up the difference. What you're saying?
Yes, sir. You wouldn't leave it that way because you're creating additional share lines, but you would at least know that you're cutting the right keys.
Right. Okay. Okay, I might try that in the short run. Do y'all carry the Corbin Russwin kits? Because I'm going to be doing a lot of this for this hospital, so I need to get what I need. I haven't spent so much time trying to figure this out.
Oh, yeah. You want the PK 1070. It's at least I think that's the part number. Let me pull it up. I have one. It's not cheap, but
it is what it is.
If you're going to work on a Chevy, you got to have the right deep well socket to get the spark plug out.
That's right.
Yeah, let's take a look. I don't know if a Chevy takes a deep well socket, but I bet it does. PK.
Well, it depends on what you work on.
Yes, sir. Let me see. So the PK 1070 is not the right kit. You want to do. Okay, you want the PK70 ZDH. That's DH class for System 7. Oh, you're doing pre-System 70. Corbin. Z. Okay, I don't see a pin kit.
Go ahead.
I don't see a pin kit for pre-System 70 for DH class.
So, I mean, you always have to, in all these, you have to compensate with extra.
No, that doesn't make sense. Is there...
No, it doesn't, because you're actually, like you said, making an extra shear line for something else.
I will, I'm going to investigate that because they've got a pinning chart. They've got a depth and spacing chart for pre-System 70, but I don't see, it could just be an omission from the price list. They've got DH for System 70, but not pre-System 70. Okay. May I have your email? I'll find out the story and communicate back to you.
Regarding the links to ads that you might see in this video, we do apologize for any interruption to a smooth viewing experience, and hopefully the ads that are being presented to you are related to the base product. And if there is something, feel free to click on those and perhaps consider taking a look at what that other advertiser is promoting. Let's get back to the video.
In the 2020 price list, the PK70 ZDH, I want to pin DH class in pre-System 70, but the price list states System 70, and I'm seeing that a pre-System 70 reference is missing, and I want to be sure to order the right kit.
Yeah, so hold on one second. I believe it will do both pre-System and System 70, but I want to double check that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I'm looking at the pin lengths, and there's some that you would possibly need that you won't have.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking through right now is to see what. Yeah, see, the only one that I see is the deluxe pin kit. So ideal for locksmiths and distributor service personnel who must service a variety of Corbin Russwin keying systems. Also for end users with pre-System 70 keying systems. And that's the PK1070. That's the deluxe pin kit. And I think it's just because we only produce pre-System 70 if they're like pre-existing systems. Like everything's cord system or pin System 70 now. Yeah. So I think I don't see anything other than that would do the pre-System 70 unless you bought individual pin sizes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I'm concerned with is that it doesn't say state DH class in the price list. I've got my PK1070 here. I should have just pulled it out and looked.
Yeah, that will do. PK1070 will do all.
Got it. Okay. Then that's perfect. Yes, I should have looked at my kit and made sure that I had all the pin lengths there. And that's what I should have done. So I'm sorry that I had to call.
No, okay. You're fine. No worries. But yeah, if you have a PK1070, you should be good to go. It should have the pins you need in it.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
No problem. You have a great day, all right?
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
So to add on to the client, what we moved through there, the client did call and say that he needs to have the right tool. So from the website, if you get to the word manufacturers, go to the Corbin Russwin page. Let's do that again. So manufacturers, do a find function on your keyboard for Corbin. You'll find Corbin Russwin. This is the manual that we've been referring to all along, the Corbin Russwin cylinder manual. Pages 62 and 65 were the depth and spacing data for the DH class, System 70, and non-System 70. Pre-System 70 DH class is page 65, right there. System 70 was page 62, right there. Now, my concern was what the problem was with the kit showing that it was or was not going to include all the parts, and the description in the price list that I'm relying on is here. They don't mention DH class. However, as was evidenced by the conversation with the manufacturer, in the catalog is really where we're looking. Ideal for locksmiths and distributor service personnel who must service a variety of Corbin Russwin systems. Also for end users with pre-system. Contains all pins required to combine standard IC mastering cylinders, system and pre-system 70 in both 509 and 552 in all keying classes. Furnished in a reinforced steel case with combinating instructions on the inside of the lid, and that is right here what I was referring to. Two-sided chart gives you all the lengths. It's basically the depth and spacing data that is here on that chart for the relevant material, and we are taking the client's order and moving forward. Let's keep this going.
I'll be doing this. I don't need to be doing this. So if anything else, I'll have it for the future. Probably won't run into it too often, but nevertheless, I need to get it for this job. So this is a big account, and I'm going to be doing it all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and get it. But we did try to do with what we had. I've gone through every scenario and math and everything, and I'm going, God, what am I doing here? And I'm going, I've got to get this together because I'm losing money right and left by just messing around trying to figure this out. You know, so anyway, but go ahead and send it on if you don't mind. I appreciate you got it. You know what I need, so at least I have the assurance when I get it. All I got to do is measure the master. I'll have the gauge, even though I can measure the master, figure out my change key, do my regular math, and just do it and cut them. And I'll have the pins and everything ought to be in order. I don't have to do any mathematical lookup and configuring of each one.
Yeah.
Like you said, too, it may not fit. My worry is if it hangs up. He said it had a different crown. That bothers me, too. Because when master pin, you know this, the more precise the lock is, the more chance of hang up if you don't do it just right. And
absolutely. You can only get away with shenanigans on a $20 lock.
Yeah. So, you know, I got to have it where it works smoothly and it's cut just right. And I've got the machine that can cut the key just right. So I'm not going to stop short yet.
I've pinned master ring with my original kit, and it is like butter. So nice. I mean, lab is awesome, and it's in lab. You have every locksmith owns a lab, but when you're doing when you're doing specialty work, you got to have the right tool, and that original kit is the way to go.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Rich, I appreciate it. Go ahead and send it on, and we'll see what we can get going with it. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And I got it in today and appreciate y'all getting it to me. Maybe I can save this client. The question I have for you, I don't have my gauge yet, but I'm going to try and see if I can pin these. The question I have is I took my caliper and measured my master key. And the cuts that I got on it are on the chart, but I don't know how to match up those numbers to a number for the standard, in other words, to do my master key in math. Usually on the lab kit, you were able to figure out they were cut to a certain depth, and you can figure out what that depth is, and you go, okay, well, that's a number 2 or whatever it is, for that number. How can I figure out? I've got these exact numbers on the master key in the pin kit, but I am not really sure how I'm going to do the math for because it doesn't have a number to match up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so. So what's the pinning in your first chamber on the master key?
Okay. All right, it's a 241 on the number 1.
Okay, so and what's your change key in that position?
Well, I have to come up with one.
Oh, I understand.
Which is, so that's not going to be a problem. So I don't know what to assign that. That's my problem.
Well, I mean, in your PK 1070, you have let's see here now. You have a 241. It's in the upper left-hand corner. Second row, second column.
I don't see it. Are you talking about, let me see, let me look again.
So I literally have my PK 1070 open in front of me.
Okay, this is the pre-system 70, right? DH class?
Well, I mean, this kit will do either.
No.
But are you looking in your PK 1070?
I'm looking at inside my kit, where it gives you the system 70, pre-system 70, and the DH class, the 3 classes evidently.
So in your kit, what's the pin called in the second row, second column?
You talking about the pin in the second bidding of it? I mean, number 2 slot?
No, when you have your pinning kit, the PK 1070 kit that you got today, open in front of you, what's the
yes, sir?
What pin is in the second row, second column of the kit itself, the white tray?
Okay, well, the second row, the second column, it's a L234.
Okay, so my kit's a little different. So obviously 234. So 234, 234.
Right.
234. L234. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you, so my kit's laid out a little differently. Oh, I see. Okay, so look to the right, two more spaces. So go, what's in the fourth row, second column? I'm sorry, fourth column, second row.
Yeah, that's a 241. This is a second row, second one over is a L241.
Yes, sir. So there's your bottom pin for the master.
Okay, now, but I don't know what number that is.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. Sorry, forgive me. So you measured a 2.
In other words, I can't figure out how to. Usually, what I do my master key is I figure out what the number is and I subtract to make sure I got 2 depths, and that's it. So, maybe I'm not.
So
how do I do this?
We're doing pre-system 70, if I recall.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you put a caliper on your plug? Is it 509 or 552?
No, I did do the plug. What did I say that plug was? I think I told you what that plug was. Darn it.
I'm going to think it's 509.
I'm thinking it is too. Let me see. I remember I wrote that down and told you, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
I know it was a 509 or 552, but I think it was a 509.
Yeah, me too. So a 241 is like 5.5 on the bottom pin. It's like a 5 cut, but it's heavy. It's heavy on a 5 cut.
Okay. That's my point. Yeah. So if it's
literally call it 5.5.
Okay. So is that? I mean, how do you figure that out? I mean, I guess I'm trying to do. If I figure out, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I'll just forgive me, but so you've got in the kit, you got that rigid chart that's like 18-inch wide and 10-inch tall.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking on one face, you got Z class and X class. I'm looking at the other side at DH class on the left side, the left third.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm looking to the right in the pre-system 70, and
correct.
below the silhouette of the key on the left side, it says 0.509 diameter plug. And then for your bottom pins, you've got 0 through 9. And if you look at 5 and 6, you'll say, shoot, 5 is 234 and 6 is 248. So it's a 5.5. It's right in the middle between the two.
Well, no, on the pre-system 70, if I'm looking up, it has, let's see here. Are we talking about the very top, or are we talking about the bottom there? Wait a minute, 509, excuse me. Between 4 and 5, that's the top pin. Okay, between 4 and 5, I have 220 and a 234 on the 509 diameter.
So look between 5 and 6. So you got 234 and 248.
That's correct. Okay.
So you're heavy on a 5 and you're light on a 6. So, if you added 7 to the 5, you'd be at 5.5, which would be 241. And if you added another 7, you'd be at 248, which is a 6. So in that chamber, that master key is literally 5.5. Accounting for the fact that you're, the measuring with the caliper is going to be a little off, a couple of thousandths, that sort of baloney.
I'm just trying to figure out how. Go ahead. Just trying to take this master, those cuts, and figure out what a change key I could use to my pinning kit to figure out what I need to pin it to.
Sure.
To make it work.
As long as you're 2 away from your master, as long as you're 2 away, you're okay. So don't go if you're doing that first chamber, it's got to be either 8 or it's got to be 2 or greater than that. You can use 0, 1, 2 or 8 and 9 in that same chamber. You've got to stay 2 away from 5. Well, you could use 3.
Okay.
3 would work. What's the increment? It's 18. What is that? 15. Yeah, so 30 thousandths. It's just like Schlegg. So you could use a 3.
So you're saying since my first bottom pin falls between a 5 and a 6, making about a 5.5, you're saying go which direction?
Well,
up,
you could go either way.
Right. But you're saying I could go you're saying I could go to like a 3 or something, or even go up to a 8, which would be a 279, and that would work?
Sure it would, because your increment is in the chart up above and to the right where it says max 7, the increment's 0.015, and it's a 2-step, so that means you've got to be 0.03 away from your master. So your master is a 241, we'll call it a 5.5, but really you got to be 0.201 or more away, or you got to be 271 or away. So you could use a 0, 1, 2, 3, or an 8 and a 9 in that chamber as a change key number, because those cuts are more than 30 thousandths away.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is but since that doesn't come up to an even number there, no matter which one I choose, I'm going to be off with whatever pin I choose, will I not?
Well, you will be, and the good news is that in the bottom row of your kit, you've got master pins that are like your lab kit, where they're, 3 thousandths, 4 thousandths, 5 thousandths difference, or 2 thousandths. So what I would do is, let's do this. So you got a 241, and if we were to add, let's look at a master pin. Master pin. So you could use a 241. We got a 30. Yeah. So in your kit, if you were to go to a 3, which is 203, you would have to be at let's see. 30.
Well, then you don't.
Okay. So you could, if you were to go to you could if your change key was a 3, you would drop the .203 pin. Then you got to get to 241, and that would be 30. You could use that MO37 master pin.
So what you're saying is subtract or add to the 241 in order to make up with a master pin, in order to make up for the next, I guess, to make up for that next pin. I guess I don't have to make up for the next pin. Once I just figure what the master pin is to make up the difference, I've mastered it basically. Would that be correct?
So, I think so. What do you want to make your cut in that first? What do you want your change key to be cut to?
Let's just make up something that's just two depth difference. So I'm going to have, let's say, since it's a 241, we're already, we could go to like a 4, like I say, 220.
No, that's too close.
That's too close?
That's too close because it's only 21 thousandths away. It has to be at least 30 thousandths. Oh,
okay. All right. Well, then let's say we go to a 3, which would be a 203.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. In that chamber, your change key's a 3, and you know your master's that funny 5.5. What you're going to do is you're going to pin it to, you're going to drop the .203 bottom pin into it. Okay, that's great. Then 203, yeah, you got a 203.
Mm-hmm.
Now
let's see here. I'm looking at the 203. You know, I'm getting all these numbers. Like I've got different, like a 241, for example, in there's the gold and the silver. I'm not sure which is which here.
So the golds, if you study the pins, they don't have the point on them. So those are build-up or master pins.
Okay. So my bottom pins are the silver ones.
Yes, sir. The L pins up at the top. So your change is a 3. That means you're going to drop into that chamber the L203 pin. It'll be a silver pin.
Okay.
Our kits are clearly laid out a little different. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the left of your L234. So
7 to the left. Okay, that's the 203, right?
Beautiful. And you know what I do in my lab kit? I write on there, like in black marker. I write next to the L203. I put number 3 in there, so I know it's 3. So
I got you. Okay.
Now you know you got to get to a 241. So the master that you would need would be 038. We don't have an 038 in this kit, but if you look at the hard bottom left-hand corner, look at the M numbers, M028, M030, you got an M037.
Right.
I would drop that pin, I would make sure both keys work, and I would repeat the process for the following 5 chambers.
So you're saying that you would put in a master 037 on top of the 203, and that should be close enough.
Oh, it's going to be a 10,000th of an inch away.
All right. Will it still work or hang up, or what do we do?
It'll be a 1,000th of an inch off, not a 10,000th. It's gonna. I'm sure it's going to work perfectly because .001 is not going to matter in the kit. That's if it was .003, I'd say that could be a problem, but not .001.
Okay. So that's what I would do for my first one. If we chose a 203, like I did, then I just keep doing it for the rest of them.
So what's the cut in the second chamber for the master?
It's a 232.
Well, that's a 5. That's a spitting image of a 5. That's 2 thousandths off. So that's just a 5, because your 5 is 0.234. That's really close.
Let me see here now. Well, let's see here. Yeah, because a 5 is a, hang on a second here. I'm looking at the wrong chart here. The 5 is at 234. You're exactly right. And that's at a bottom pin.
Yes, sir.
So,
L234 at that point.
Right. And we have one of those. That'd be for the second one. Okay. And so I drop one of those in. And you're saying it doesn't make that much difference at 10,000. Then I just simply just add whatever we want that next one to be. We could just,
it could be
we don't even
7, 8, or 9. Well, it can't be 8 or 9. Well, can it be? Hold on, we got a 3. So yeah, it could be 7, 8, or 9. Or
in a master pin you're talking about?
No.
Or are you talking about a bottom pin?
Well, what do you want the change key cut to be in the second column?
Okay, we have to decide that by the pin we drop in, don't we?
Yes, sir. So you know
yeah,
you already got a 5.
Okay, so let's say it's all right, so all right, what about a 260? Well, that's still going to be 29 difference. Can't do a number 7. We have to make it an 8. It should be a 279.
You could make it a 7. You could make it a 7 because you said you were 232. So 263 minus 232 is 32,000. So it could be your change in the second column, second chamber could be 7, 8, or 9. You could use any of those. And you could also use 3, 2, 1, 0. Because you had a 5.5 and a 3. Yeah, you could pick any of them. You could pick any except 4, 5, and 6. That's the easier way to say it.
Okay. So I could pick a 7, then I could pick a 263.
Yep.
Add it to what I already have. Okay. And that would be number 2 would be ready. Okay.
Yeah, so now you need a 31,000. So that would be an M030 pin is what you would use there. The gold lower left-hand area of your kit.
All right. 030 you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, all right, now what does that represent? Right. Why did we add the 030? Let me see. I'm not sure I understand.
So think of it
we
in
had a
terms
bottom
of Schleg.
Okay.
You got a 5 master, and your change is a 7. The 030 in the Corbin kit is a Schleg number 2.
I got you. That was a 5 and a master, you're saying. Okay.
Yep, because the pre-system 70 is a 2-step, 15 thousandths. The easy way to say it, it's the same as Schleg. Schleg is like we had said. There's no number 1 master in a Schleg. There's no number 1 master in pre-system 70 Corbin.
Okay, is the MO37 then like a 6? You're saying in a master?
No, that would actually be like a 2 and it would be like a 2.5 is what it would be.
That's just an increment. Okay. All right. What did you be able to call that master a 5? How were you able to do that?
Because you said that your cut was 0.232.
I got you. I see it now on the chart there because it's a 2-depth difference. I got you. Think of it like a Schleg, like you said. Okay.
Yeah, well, for pre-System 70 we can. System 70 we can't. System 70, think of it as quickset because it's a 1-step system. In a quickset, you do have a number 1 master.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you got a big enough variance there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, I'm going to go with the. All right, I've got the 2 pins for the first 2 chambers, and I guess my first one I go with 0.203, and then I'm going to have a master of 0.037.
Yes.
And then the second one I'm going to have a 0.63 with a master of a 0.03. And my third depth, I'm going to have a 0.208. I appreciate you taking the time for this. I know you're busy, man. I'm trying to get this figured out. Once I think I've done it, my third cut is a 208. So if I look on my chart, see if I can figure this out. If it's a 208, then, okay, It's between a 3 and a 4.
Yeah, it's just heavy on a 3. So
yeah, so I'm going to have to add to that.
Yeah, or you could also go to 0. You could go up or down. So however you like. Oh, well, whatever's best for the system. But you've got to be at least 30 thousandths more. So you got a 208, you got to be at least at a 238. Well, let's see. You got an L208 in your third chamber. So we do have an L208 bottom pin. Great. And that is okay, so we're going to say that that's like 3 that's like 3 1/3. Oh, just heavy on a 3. Let's say that we go to 6 in the third chamber. So the 6 is 0.248 minus 0.208. You would need a 0.04 master, and that is your M040 master, which is, again, in the lower left-hand corner of the kit. That would work out perfectly.
So having a 208, we've got to add the M040.
Yes, sir. To get to a 6 in the change key for the third chamber.
I see. Hang on. It's because of 6, because that makes the total being 248.
Yes, sir.
I see what you're
40.
saying.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's why that would work. Okay. And then my fifth one would be a 226, and that's going to be a little on the in between there. That's going to be that's a 4.5.
Yep. Once again.
Exactly.
So let's take a look. 226. What do we have here? 226. Do we have a? So your master is 226. You could make it a. Well, I want to have some variation here. I don't want them to all be so close. What's 279? 0.279 minus 0.226. 53 thousandths? Yeah, probably be okay. So you could have your 226 bottom in the fourth and then go to an 8 cut, which is 279, and then use the M051 pin. That's probably close enough. 2000 should work. What would it be if it was a 9.294 minus 0.226? 68.
What did you say, MO48? What did you say, MO58?
No, I said 0.279 minus 0.262. Oh, 0.279.
Let's see, I got to do the math on that. Let me get a calculator.
26. It's 053, so you would use an M051.
I got you.
That should be close enough.
Okay. All right. Okay, just those 2 pins would do it. I see what you're doing now, finally. What you're doing is taking the cut like I did. Let me do the 6th one. It's a 238. I'm going to look up on my chart under 238. All right, it's 4/10 or 4 thousandths. Excuse me, it's 6. A 238 is 4 more than a 5.
Yes, sir, 4 thousandths.
So,
yes, sir.
And we have to go, we couldn't go to 248. We have to go 2 depths. You're saying, like, let's go to 263. So what I would do.
That's not enough because you're already 4 thousandths over, and that would put you at 26 thousandths if you went to a 7. So you'd have to go to an 8 or a 9 if you were, so you could, so 0.279 minus 0.238. 41. Yeah, there you go. So you could use an MO40 or an MO42.
Wait a minute. We did a 0.279. We minus would we say that was a 0.238?
Yes, sir.
All right. 0.238. 0.0. No. 0.238. All right, that gives us a 41. So are you saying use a MO? I got an MO 40.
You got a 40 or a 42? I would obviously stick with the 40.
Why obviously stick with 40?
You know, I find because of the profile on the driver pin, because it's crowned, there's more forgiveness. In my opinion, if the pin sits just shy of the plug, rather than too high, is what I find. But you know, it's 1/1000th of an inch. The cylinder's not even going to know it's there.
Okay, so basically, for all these that I just did with you, and I appreciate your help so much, you just don't know, is that I'm basically going to put in that pin with that master pin on each one, and it'll fit a master key, and it'll fit, well, let's see, what's the change key going to be? The change key is going to be, let me figure out that. The change key is going to be like, well, that'd be the 203, which would be, let's see, would be a 3, I guess.
Nope, because we started with 279, so it's got to be an 8.
It's got to be an 8. Okay.
Yeah, so
we started with 270. Okay, I see what you're saying. We start with the 279 because it's what the total amount is.
Yeah. Well, it's the deepest cut. We're starting with the deepest cut.
Right. Okay. Start with the deepest cut. So then the first slot in the change key would be a 8. Is what you're saying?
Well, your change key would be an 8, but the pins you would drop would be your .238 and then your 040.
I thought in the first chamber it would be the .203.
Oh, forgive me. I didn't realize we were talking about the first chamber. Yes, I was still in the 6th. So I don't recall the cut. Was it a 2? I don't recall the cut in the first chamber.
It was a 203, .203.
Yeah, 203. And I think you were going to add
a master of a .037.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So the .203 then represents a number 3 cut. Is that correct?
.203 on the chart. On the chart is a
.203
on the chart is a 3 bottom pin. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that would be a 3. Okay. Then on my second one, we said it was a point. We said it was .60. Okay, that's what I'm going to have to do. I go that. So that would be a number 7 then. And a number. Isn't that correct? If that's what it was, that's my deepest cut.
Yeah. So. Okay. So. It was. What was the deepest cut again? 263.
It was 263. Then we had a master pin with 3.0 to bring it up.
Okay, and what was the master cut in the second chamber?
In the second chamber, it was a 232.
Got it. .232. So you're going to need a 30, an M030 in that chamber. So you'll drop a .232 and then put an M030 over it.
No, I'm putting a 0.6. No, on the second one, yeah, for the .332. That's what the master key is. We brought it up to a .63, .263.
Yes, sir.
And then so that would be a 7 cut, right?
I mean, 263 is a 7, yes, sir. It
would be a 7. Then we add a master of a .30.
That's right, but you're going to drop an M030, yes. But the pin you're going to drop first is going to be the Well, it'll have to be.
It'll be the 263.
No, because you got to drop the smaller pin first, the shorter one.
You got to drop the master pin in first.
Yes, sir. So because your change key is deeper in every chamber compared to your master, you're going to put the master key in and you're going to pin it. You're going to pull the master key out, then put in the change key, and you'll see all the pins are too short. Then fill them up with master pins.
Right. So you put the bottom pin in first, not the master pin.
Oh, yes,
in
sir.
In the chamber, don't.
Yes, sir. But in this case, the bottom pin will always be the bitting of the master because you're making your change key deeper than your master in all positions.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you got to put the master key pinning in first. What you're saying?
Yes.
Looks like the first one is a 241. You put in a 3. That the second part, the resting chamber of the master key is a 332. You put in a 7, and so forth and so on. So you got all the master ones pinned. Then you put in the change one is the one we just did the work. We did the math with. We will put in the next pin, which is going to be like in the first chamber. After we put the 241 in, we'll put in a 203.203, and then we use a master of a .037, and that should make it work for that key.
For that chamber, yes.
For that chamber, correct. And we just have to do that with every chamber.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to have, that's right. So you're going to have three sets of pins. You're going to have the master key pins that go in first, and all those, I guess, are they considered the bottom pins, or?
They would be considered bottom pins, yes. Because the bottom pin is always the shallowest cut. Doesn't matter if it's a master or a change or anything.
Okay. So I will put them in first. Then I will have the other ones. I guess I'll put in the next biggest one of the change key with the master pin on top of that one.
That's exactly correct.
Okay. All right. I got to process this. I thought I understood master key until I got this.
Well, it's because we have to. You know why? It's because you have obviously a very worn master key. Is you're inheriting an old worn system. That's why you're gyrating. You know why we got to be gymnastic about it. If you want, you've got my email. Just shoot me over what you've got, and then I will review it if you would like, and I'll let you know what I think.
Okay, what is your email, Rich? I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, of course.
You gave it to me once before, but what is it? It's
So it's R as in Richard. Then my last name, Howard.
Right.
At A as in architectural. B as in builders. Supply, SUPPLY.
Okay.
.net.
.net. Rich, I thank you so much. I'm going to sit here and do my math and review it, and then I'll send you an email and just ask you to review it, see what you think.
I promise a response.
Okay. I appreciate your help and your patience so much. I really do.
I look forward to hearing that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you now. All right, bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. In the interest of being super clear in terms of how we were deriving the pins, it was inherently assumed that the client had already done some basic math. So let's open up the cylinder manual again, and we'll go to page 65. Okay, so the client was giving me, he gave me a 231, I believe, on the first chamber. 231. Well, the client said that he used a caliper. So when you use a caliper, you're measuring the root depth, which is the bottom of the cut to the bottom of the blade. So I'm assuming the client took, which is why I, asked initially what the plug diameter was, 0.509 minus the root depth, okay, is then going to give you your pin length. So he had a 231 for a bottom pin. Now I was assuming that he had already taken 509, subtracted his dimension to arrive at a 231. However, upon reflection, he may have been getting the dimensions he may have been giving me were his root depth. So if he gave me a root depth of 0.231, which is going to be just shy on a 7, everything him and I talked about is going to be way off. It's going to be he's probably pulling his hair out. So we're going to check back with the client and see if if the dimensions he gave me were his root depth. And if they are, then all we need to do is take our plug diameter, 0.509, minus the root depth. Okay, and just to study it, in a DH class, 0 is the smallest cut and 9 is the deepest cut. So it would make sense that when you go from 0 to 9, the numbers get smaller because the cut gets deeper, the root is smaller. So I was assuming he was giving me the plug diameter minus his root depth dimension, and then giving me what was left over. So it would be 0.509 minus 0.232 or 231. He ought to have measured a root depth of 0.278, which would have been basically a 4 for the master. Now, we were talking as if he was giving me the calculated dimension, so it would be closer to basically a 5, quite close to a 5, because this is the chart we're working on, the length of the bottom pin. So what we now have to determine from the client is, when he gave me the 231, was it the plug diameter minus the root depth, or was it the root depth? If it was the root depth, then we have to take the plug diameter minus the root depth and then convert it to the closest here. But if he gave me his final calculation, then everything we spoke about yesterday was correct. So I'm going to send the client an email now and ask for a follow-up, and ask that the client send me his worksheet so we can look at it together. Thank you. So after the last conversation, I have not heard back from the client, and it's been a very long time, so we'll consider this video concluded. If there's any questions about Corbin Russwin, please feel free to reach out to us. That cylinder manual is, for me, the most important published documentation from any lock manufacturer when it is attempting to explain how their entire system or their universe works. Corbin Russwin does a great job. Medico does as well. There are service manuals for medical material, which, to me, they're indispensable documents to helping you determine how to navigate what you're working on. Without it, I would not easily know all of the different types of systems and classes that they have. The classes, really, they have 2 systems. And it's really helpful. All of the historical information when it comes to interchangeable core or master ring, all of the depth and spacing data that they have there, the history of each class, what era or period it was introduced, and it's just a great source of replacement part numbers as well. Hopefully, out of all of that, something important was gleaned and helpful, and if not, feel free to reach out to us. Be happy to talk about Corbin Russwin keying. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.